Okay, let's talk about the color wheel and the mixer. These are the two most common ways that you're going to be choosing what color you're going to be working with in Corel Painter. And for the sake of the demo, I'm going to go ahead and drag these right on top of the canvas that I'm working on. With the color wheel, you basically have this outer ring here. This is how you basically choosing what color you're working with, and then you have this inner triangle where you can get different variances as far as the value of the color and as far as the intensity of the color. So if I'm going to choose this this blue, or this green right here, and I'm going to go ahead and work with opaque acrylic. So there we go, we have the green. Now if I want to change that green a little bit, if I want to make it a little bit more intense, I just go ahead and pull this to the tip of the triangle. This is basically the highest saturation. And then if I want to desaturate it or make it lighter or darker, I pull it over here. If I want it to basically remain the same saturation, I would keep it in the middle. So you can see gradually it's not really changing that much in terms of the value of it, but it's changing in terms of the saturation level of it. So if you go all the way to the far left, you end up with a pure gray. And then all the way on the top here, the color just gradually lightens up. So it's very precise in terms of the color. And if you want it darker, obviously you just pull it down here. So the far left is basically like a grayscale. So that's the color wheel. Now in terms of the color mixer, which is probably one of the nicest things about choosing colors in Corel Painter, is this is basically a palette, just like you would have in a normal artist studio working with oils or acrylics. What you do is go ahead and just for the sake of the demo, I would go ahead and click off on this guy. This is the dirty brush mode. We're just going to be using the normal brush. You're going to be taking your brush here and either picking from these colors here and mixing them on your palette, or you can go ahead and pick here on your color wheel. And I'm gonna just go ahead and lay some colors on there. So you're basically making your own kind of palette, which is really nice to have instead of using all the colors that you have here, which can be a little intimidating and a little overwhelming. Now you'll notice when these get close to each other, you can actually blend them, just like you could on a normal palette. And if you want to really blend them really thoroughly, you can choose the palette knife. This will blend just like a normal palette knife would in, like, let's say, oil painting. Then you can go over and switch over to the color selector, and then you'll be selecting this color and then painting with it. So you don't have to find all these nice little subtleties that you took all the time to mix up here, and you can change these mixer palettes. You can just save them on the desktop or save them wherever you want to save them. There's also this other color selector thing, the same kind of thing you have here, but to the right of it with a little small circle around it. This allows you to paint with more than one color. Now, as far as I know, there's only a couple brushes that work really well with this. The one that I know for sure works is over here in brushes called Artist Oils. And we can come here and try to find an area where two colors kind of meet up with each other. I'll go ahead and choose this area. And then you can see that I'm working with multiple colors. In this case, I'm working with maybe 3 or possibly even 4 colors. So it really mimics how like an actual palette would be. And then with the dirty brush mode, instead of just working with this brush mode, I'll go ahead and clear this palette. There's no backspace on the palette, so once you kind of get it to the point where it's just a little bit too much, you basically have to start over again with the trash button there. Now with the dirty brush mode, Well, let's go ahead and turn it off to kind of refresh your memory what the normal brush is like. You're just kind of selecting your colors and then you're mixing them. You can see that this blue that I'm choosing here, every time I start over again, yes, it mixes it up a little bit, but then when I start over in a clean area, I have the pure blue. Versus if I'm going to be working with the dirty brush, let's say I have all of this kind of muted blue over here, and then let's say I have a whole bunch of green, and I'm going to start mixing them. You can see it acts as basically just like a dirty brush would on your palette. It's not a clean brush at all, so I'm never going to get that pure color back unless I turn this off. And kind of go back in here, and then there I go. I've got my clean color again. So whichever way it works for you is the way I would work, obviously. You also have the magnifying glass here where you can basically zoom in on it. I find this really helpful when, let's say you're working with the selector tool and you get multiple colors in there. It's a little bit easier to kind of pick those out. And that's basically it.